Hello everyone, and thank you for joining us today. Welcome to learning webinar on a less straight path in careers. Let me introduce you to our dear mentor and presenter, Makran Patwadan sir. Sir has experience in senior supply chain management with various leadership roles in careers spanning over 3 decades. Vast experience in supply chain management, leading multiple manufacturing sites, operations, material planning, business analytics, ERP implementation, and heading continuous improvement. Thank you, sir, for presenting this webinar for everyone. We are all happy to attend this webinar, and thank you so much for joining us today. Welcome, Makran, sir.
Yeah, hello everybody. And today we'll talk about an industry which is not very well known or understood, but it touches your everyday life in one way or the other. So let me share the screen and start the presentation. So do you know these organizations or companies, whether you have heard or you know one of them? One is called as Chivudon, second is called as Firmenich, third is called as Mane, fourth is IFF, Simrise, Takasago, Frutarom, Sensient, Robertet, or T. Hasegawa. Has anybody ever heard names of these companies? If you show you, they are making $28 billion business. That is approximately 2 lakh crore rupees yearly. They are doing the business. But these are lesser known companies. They are projected to be $35 billion by 2024. They are growing annually at a rate of 3.5 to 3.7%. Some of the Indian companies in this category is Keva, Oriental Aromatics, Ultra International Limited, Sashiro. Many of you may have heard the names of these companies. So as you begin your day, you start with washing your mouth, taking the toothbrush, putting the toothpaste. Then somebody will go for shaving, so they will use shaving cream. Somebody will use gel. Somebody uses shaving foam. Then you have a bath. You use bathing soap, shower gel, shampoo, conditioners, and so on and so forth. Some people will use aftershave lotion. After that, somebody might be having puja, agarbattis, or candles which are being used. Then you'll have breakfast for which you'll have juices, cookies, masala, which are used in preparation of the breakfast. Then you do dressing up before going for your job or wherever you want to go out. So you'll use a perfume, you'll use a deodorant, you'll use some amount of cosmetics like foundations, lotion, cream, face wash. You'll use hand wash now, which is very common because of the COVID situation. Hand wash, disinfectant, moisturizers which are used. Or as you go off, the maid working might be doing floor cleaning, so she will use floor cleaners. There is a laundry detergent which are used, laundry bars which are used, fabric conditioners, utensil liquid soaps which are used, or the bars. Some people are using room fresheners. In the dinner, you'll have ice cream, jelly, pastries, cookies. You'll be drinking cola, fruit juices, snacks, chips, etc. Ultimately, before going to sleep, you will use a mouthwash. Somebody might be taking some medicines, so they might be using some tablets or syrups. So, do you get what I am coming to? These are your day-to-day used items in a day. and the industries which I have shown you are some way or the other touching this, your daily used articles. So you have heard about, or you might be using also some of these brands which are well known: Rin, Tide, Nirma, Wheel, Gedi, Surf, Patanjali's, or the cleaning solutions whichever are used in the house, or the soap, bathing soaps like Synthol, Santur, Medimix, Dove, Johnson's, Dettol's, Lux, and so on and so forth. There are huge number of soap bars which are available. Then you have liquid hand washers which are available in various brands. So immunity boosters as now currently happening, Savlon or Himalayas or Purell, Detol's and all this. Or you might be using various kinds of shampoos which are available in n number of varieties which are available in the market. So some or the other brand people are using. You might be using the joss sticks or called as agarbattis, or you might be using the floor cleaners, as I said. Comes to chocolates, various kind of chocolates or the various kind of sweets which are used, the ice creams, brands like Amul, Vadilal, Aram, Dinshaw, Havmor, Mother, or you're using the chips, Lay's, Uncle Chips, Bingo, Pringles, and so on. So as you go, you might have heard these names also: Boss, Acquadigio, Bulgari, or Lauder, or so many other brands of Versace, Fendi, D&G, Boss, Calvin Klein, all the perfumes, whatever. So what do you see common in all these? Can anybody talk about what is common in all this? I'll stop sharing. So can anybody talk about what is common between these? You can put your comments in the link provided. What do you find common in whatever I mentioned just now? Anybody?
Yes,
Okay.
answer in the chat box.
Yeah, FMCG. Okay, flavors, good. Okay, flavored or fragrance, flavors. Okay, consumables. Okay, daily needs. Okay, highly consumed fragrances. Okay, okay, consumers. Okay, so you got to a certain extent what I wanted to talk about. So let us go back to the presentation. So what is it that is being used in day-to-day life? Is common in all this is one ingredient which is missing in this, you will feel very uneasy. You take your toothpaste, it is very bland, there is no mint in it, there is no flavor in it, so you will find it very odd. Or you use bathing soap without any perfume in it, just imagine how it will be. Or you are using a laundry bar or laundry detergent without any perfume in it, or agarbattis being burnt without any perfume in it. Just imagine this world, or ice creams or chips without flavors in it. So we are talking about, yes, it is the pleasant smell and the taste, which is the common ingredient in all this. So it's called as a fragrance or flavor. Whenever it is in the edible variety, it is flavor. Whether it is non-edible, it is a fragrance. So you are wearing a fragrance and you are eating the flavor. So these are the fragrance and flavor, and in this parlance in the industry, it is known as F&F industry, which is fragrance and flavor industry, which is very less known for the common man, because it is a B2B business. So it is a business to business transaction which are happening for all these industries. What they are doing is producing in bulk quantities and supplying to all the consumer FMCG companies, or say agarbatti manufacturers or soap manufacturers or ice cream manufacturers. These are being supplied, which is used in their products and which is available to you for consumption as a consumer. So it's a B2B business, business to business dealing, and hence these companies are not so well known, but their turnover is huge in compared to other companies. So it's a fragrance and flavor industry, which is slightly unfamiliar industry. Might be having some people who are working in fragrance and flavor industry, but it is very rarely you will find people working in fragrance and flavor. Nowadays the presence is increasing in fragrance and flavor, but very few. You might be having heard of IT industry in a big way. You will be hearing all the names in IT industry, or in a pharma sector you will be knowing most of the names in pharma sector. But these companies which are working in a B2B in F&F, it's not so familiar. So how this business starts? Uh, this business starts with a customer who is coming to a business who is doing fragrance and flavor creation. So these customers are approaching these industry leaders, or vice versa. That is, the fragrance and flavor company will be approaching these FMCG companies or this thing. I'll give you a theoretical example. I am a soap manufacturer and I want to introduce a new soap in my portfolio, within my portfolio. Say, for example, you are doing Lux, you are doing Synthol, and so on and so forth. So that customer is expressing what kind of soap he wants to introduce in market. In any kind of a soap, as you must have seen the advertisements, the main selling is happening on a perfume. That my soap is smelling like this. My soap is smelling like this. After 6 hours also, in your body it will be carrying that smell. So a consumer is sorry, the customer is coming and expressing that I want to introduce a soap. And a theoretical case which I am telling, that he explained that okay, after using this, I might be feeling very youthful. I feel like I'm sitting on a sea face. There is greenery on one side, there is water flowing on the other side, there is a salty smell or the fishy smell which is available. It is very windy, and after using that soap, I should feel like I'm sitting on a beach and enjoying my life. So that is the idea which is put by the customer. Now, within this industry, there are specialized people who are working, who understand what customer wants to say. So there is a typical language which is used by the perfumery companies, which is called a perfumery language, which is translating all these expressions of customer into a perfumery language. So these persons who are working along with the customer are called as a creative manager, creative fragrance manager, creative flavor manager, or whatever terminology is being used by different companies in the different this industry. So this creative manager will understand what his customers need exactly, what he wants to create and introduce into the market. So then once customer is telling that is his requirement, the creative manager translates all this requirement into a perfumery language. So he will be saying a green note, or might be a salty note, or he might be talking about watery note, or whatever is the description given, what customer has told. So based on that, he describes the likely perfume what a customer wants. And then this creative manager translates this with the main perfumer. Now let us understand how the fragrance pyramid works. So fragrance pyramid, once they talk about the language of fragrance, there are three notes or the smells which are described by any perfumer or any creative manager. So that is called as a fragrance pyramid. What is a fragrance pyramid? So whenever you smell something, you immediately get is a top note of a perfume, and then after some time you will get a middle note, or what is also called as a heart note, and at the end you will get a base note, which is the base of a perfume. So these are the three type of notes which are describing a typical fragrance or a flavor, that how it is being described by the perfumery industry. So top note, which is the immediate impact what you get after smelling. After some time, you'll have middle note or heart note, and at the end, which is retained for a longer time, is the base note, which is available. So if you see from duration angle, the top notes will last for 5 to 15 minutes. These are all average figures. It will differ from fragrance to fragrance, from application to application. But in general, around 5 to 15 minutes, the top note will be retained. The middle note or the heart note will be retained for 20 to 60 minutes. And the more than 6 hours, whatever is note which is remaining is called as a base note. Just remember these figures, there is nothing else. You must have visited so many shops where you smell a perfume, or you buy a deodorant, or you buy a spray or something. They put it on a paper, which is called as a smelling step, and then give it. Before smelling, you have to just move it like that so that the excess perfume on that is taken out, and it is retained with a bare minimum perfume to smell. So immediately the first smell which you get is a top note, and most of the time you are liking a perfume or a fragrance or a soap or whatever is on the first top note. You are selecting all your perfume based on the top notes. After some time, you get those middle notes or the heart note, and if it is retained for a longer time, you will get the base notes. So if you have gone to an airport or something, if you have carried those strips and put it in your pocket, and after you get down, say if you have gone to Europe or you have gone to US or whatever, after you get down, what remaining notes you are getting are the base notes, which is going to be retained for a longer time. So what these top notes are doing is they provide the initial spark for the perfume. The popular top notes are lemon or orange or bergamot or lavender, rose, basil. It's various kinds of popular top notes which are known in the industry, and generally the freshness, if you see, will be related with lemon or orange, where you get that fresh note coming out of it. So these are the popular top notes which are available. In the middle note, you get continuous truest nature of a perfume, which is going to remain for a slightly longer time. So popular notes in these are jasmine, geranium, ylang ylang, cinnamon, pepper. These are typical middle note or the heart notes, which are giving a body of a perfume. So if you are smelling those are the typically a middle notes which are happening. But you cannot generalize, because sometimes you'll find jasmine in the top note also. Depends on the type of a customer who is demanding what kind of notes he wants to see. For example, if I want to have joss stick or agarbatti with jasmine, it will be the top note which is appearing in the agarbatti business. So typically jasmine, geranium, ylang ylang, cinnamon, pepper are all coming into middle notes, and lighter, long-lasting notes are the base notes, and among them popular are vanilla, which you must be seeing in many perfumes, musk, which is very common perfume, amber, patchouli or sandalwood. All these are very long-lasting impact. But if you see all these musk or patchouli or sandalwood, these are coming from the natural sources, hence the retention is very long, and they carry that perfume smell for almost 6 hours, sometimes 8 hours, sometimes 12 hours. It will go on lingering with you as a base note. And most of the people will ask whether you applied musk, because that is because of the base note which is coming in of for a longer use as such. Many people who are using, say, aftershave lotion have a musk in it, or many soaps are having musk in it as a base note. Vanilla smell is slightly powdery note, what they call, and then patchouli is giving you earthy smell, typical earthy smell. So all these are having a typical smell. So to tell you in short, there are almost 1200 different chemicals which are used in preparation of fragrance, and all this is contributing to the fragrance entire body. So now, once the customer has given the requirement, which is translated by the fragrance creation or creative manager into the language which is understood by a perfumer. So perfumer is the person who creates the perfume. So if you see, evaporation is fast on top note, on the middle note it is medium, and very slow in case of a bass note. So evaporation happens very slow in case of bass notes, and it will last long. That is how it is been designed. So you have seen Chanel, for example. Many of you must have seen, this is one of the oldest perfume available, Chanel number 5. So just see the description. Olfactory signature with the perfume is the floral aldehydic bouquet is enhanced with citrus notes and voluptuous vanilla at the base. So citrus at the top, vanilla at the base, and floral in the middle notes, which is appearing aldehydic notes, which are described as a Chanel. Or another example is Boss, Hugo Boss, which is known. The abstract of Hugo Boss style is captured in a bottle with a Boss bottle aroma. The fragrance is fresh, sharp, with a warm, woody base. So woody smell is coming as a freshly peeled wood. The fresh and fruity top notes of apple and citrus are perfectly balanced with floral and spicy heart dominated by pelargonium, warm, cinnamon, and cloves at the base notes. So this is how they describe the perfume. So if somebody asks and tell you that whether you want to buy a woody, fresh, fruity top note balanced with floral and spicy heart, you will say, I don't understand. But if you say, I want a Hugo Boss, yes, you will buy it immediately because you don't know the language which is being used there. But this is how they describe. And then they talk about the full body and half notes coming, something getting mixed, and so many different types of terminologies which are used by the perfumers. So this is in short how the perfumery language is being translated, and how these perfumes are getting created is a palette. Many of you must have heard palette in terms of colors. So you correlate with colors. So these are the colors which are available for any creative person who is doing drawing or painting or something. Same way, if you give this palette to a novice person who is very much new, or to a child, and tell him to draw a scenery, he will use same colors and produce a picture. You give it to a slightly higher level person, say a graduate person or something, to draw something out of this palette, he will use again same colors and draw something which will be much pleasant. But if you tell the real artist to use same colors and create a painting or a drawing with same colors, he will be creating a marvelous painting. So palette remains same. Who is creating is deciding the value. Same way it happens with the perfumers. So palette, a typical perfumery palette as they call it, or the types of chemicals which are available for creation of a perfume or a flavor, they are generally into synthetic, naturals, kind of essential oils or extracts, and so many other things. Around 1200 different chemicals in different forms are being used. So these are available for a perfumer to create the picture. So if you see, perfumery is more of an art than a science, because you're creating something with the same set of chemicals which are available. The expression might be totally different as a different perfumer create different perfumes. So same palette being used, but a different notes coming out of the same perfume creation, which is given as an idea. So this is how the palette works for a perfume. So I come back to the earlier scenario where customer has expressed what he wants. The creative manager has created the path on which a perfumer or flavorist has to work on it. So he is translating the customer requirement into a perfumery language or a flavoring language where it will help the perfumer or flavorist to create a perfume. So he will typically describe what top notes customer is looking at, what middle note customer is looking at, what bottom note customer is looking at. Now it is up to a perfumer to create within the given palette what we saw, a set of raw materials which are available for creation. So it is called as a palette, which is available for a perfumer or a flavorist. Then his imaginary working starts, and he will create a perfume based on the understanding which he has got. And it is not very simple because you are using so many chemicals with it. So even if I am selecting some top notes, after mixing with the middle note or the base note, the entire chemistry changes, the smell changes. So even if I am using pure vanilla, the vanilla mixed with musk or vanilla mixed with something else will be creating a different type of a smell. So he has to balance it out together to give a perfume which is verbally told by the customer to the creative manager to create it. So it is all a perceived thing which is happening. So customer is not able to exactly describe what he wants. Creative manager is understanding his requirement and converting into a perfumery language based on which a perfumer or a flavorist is creating a perfume or a flavor. Now what these people do is they go on creating till their satisfaction to the notes which is described by a creative manager. So they will create first version, second version, third version, like that till. So they require some time to think and go on creating. They go on smelling in between what the composition is. After 4 hours, how it is smelling. After 8 hours, how it is smelling. So they go on creating those. Then they might have created 10, 12 different combinations which are available with a perfumer as his job work. Out of that, he will select 3 or 4 and give it to creative manager that whatever you have told, this is what he has created. So that he, again, a creative manager also has the ability to smell and tally with what customer has told. So then he will select either 2 or 3 out of that or entire set and take it to the customer. Then the customer will be given the smell on the strips and he will select based on his what was in his mind, what was the idea he has given, which one among them is tallying with this. So the process starts. So perfumer creates, it goes to the creative manager, the set, who in turns present to the customer. Customer might accept one of them that it is perfect match, or it is a match which he requires some changes to be happening. Say he will say, I don't find this kind of a smell in top note or middle note. So there might be a rework happening. So that customer requirement again goes back to creative manager that okay, he's talking about these notes are missing, or there should be higher percentage of these notes should be available within this perfume or this flavor, whatever is created. This requirement again goes back to the perfumer or the flavorist. He will recreate or he will modify the perfume the way customer wants it. Again, it will go back to creative manager, again to the customer till this process is complete and ultimately we are agreed for a perfume to be accepted by the customer. So this process will go on till customer accepts what he wanted is what is created by this company, by this creative manager, by the perfumer of this company. So this is the process, which is very subjective process because I am describing something, I am smelling something, and I am whatever I am describing, I am tallying with whatever I am smelling. So there will be differences which is coming. So there is an understanding between customer, creative manager, and perfumer that this is the smell which we are talking about, and that becomes a main sample which is taken as a standard going forward for all the forward manufacturing and whatever happens with this. So once you have got a perfume which is created, before it is being submitted, there are some regulatory checks which are done. So this industry is a sort of a self-regulated industry where there are associations which are deciding on what kind of chemicals can be used in perfumes or in flavors. So there is a negative list which will say these chemicals are totally banned to be used in a perfume or a flavor. There will be list which will say it is restricted use. So at what percentage you can use this particular chemical in the perfume. Now different types of categories of applications exist within the industry in FMCG. As we said, it is a soap, it is agarbatti, it is a detergent powder, there are lotions, creams, and so many things. So certain chemicals may not be allowed to be used on your skin because it creates certain type of a reaction. Those will not be allowed for end application as a cream. So if I am creating a perfume for a cream, these chemicals should not be used, is the understanding, and that is how the palette is also decided. So there is regulatory aspect of flavors and fragrances which come into force. So before I submit any sample to a customer, the perfume, whatever is created, is undergoing a regulatory check that whether it is satisfying all the requirements which is as per the customer need, one, and second as per the regulatory needs, that whether it is containing anything which is exceeding the limits or whether it is containing anything which is banned totally, which should not be part of that palette altogether, but by chance it is there, it should be avoided. So those regulatory checks are happening, and then only the submission which happens. Now, after the regulatory checks and customer approval, it goes to the formula manager. Formula manager, this industry, the formula is the most sacrosanct thing. So formula is not available to anybody, and it is only with the perfumer. And once it is registered, it is locked. The formula gets locked. It is not available for anybody because it is a IP, intellectual property. So even if a customer wants, they are not disclosing what it contains. A general typical formula of a perfume may be having 60 to 70 different chemicals in different proportions, right from some milligram to some kilos, which is happening in different chemicals which are used 60 to 70 different chemicals on an average. Some might be getting over within 30, some might be in 130 chemicals which are used in different proportions. So formula manager job is to maintain these formulas based on the parts. What they say is the parts. So 1000 parts is a typical formula. So one particular chemical is a 2 part out of 1000 part, 3 part out of 1000 part, like that. So entire definition of formula is defined in a formula which is a secret formula and stored in a very secretive manner. So formula manager's job is to maintain all these formulations, and as I will go forward, I will tell you how the changes will happen. Based on that, how the formula manager will manage these formulations. So there is a formula manager, then it comes to production, where the process is not so complicated in creation of a perfume or manufacturing of a perfume. Most of the time it is blending activity. Sometimes there are some reactions which are happening, but very rarely. It is most of the time it is blending. So there are certain raw materials or the ingredients which are maybe in solid form which need to be dissolved. There will be some in semi-solid form, some need to be heated and added, some need to be maintained in a liquid state, but most of the chemicals which are used are in liquid state. There are powders, there are gels which are being used in the production of a perfume, which is decided by the palette as we discussed in the initial phase. So this palette is deciding what the production is. Now, these different chemicals are stored based on their storage shelf life issues. There will be some aldehydes which will expire within 3 months. There will be some chemicals which will expire within 5 years. So there is a different shelf lives for each chemical. So based on this, the storage, the procurement, and everything happens, and the production happens based on the blending, which is adding. So there might be a sequence which is decided for a particular formula, that I have to add this chemical first, then the second, then the third. So it goes sequentially, and it is being done manual additions or robotic addition. You will be surprised that in India, in 1995, there were robots who were manufacturing all the perfumes, and still robotic is highly used in this industry because of the formula secrecy as well as the accuracy of addition. Because if I am talking about, if I want to manufacture say 100 kilos of a perfume, if I add something more of a particular ingredient, it is going to disturb the entire perfume, and you cannot rectify that because it will be fully gone. Something else got added or something excess got added. It will change the entire pattern of a perfume or a flavor, and hence there comes the quality check. So what they do in quality check after mixing is done, there are certain perfumes which will require maturation, as they call it. So I have to store it for 7 days or 8 days, stirring intermittently so that it matures, perfume matures and gives the final perfume in a typical note which are described by the customer. So there are maturation which is required. We have seen some perfume which requires 2 months of maturation. Some require heating and then a maturation of 7 days. So it depends on the type of a formula which is being used. What quality control is doing in this is most important is the olfaction, that is the smelling. So one is smelling, second is they do gas chromatography or some other type of analysis where individual peaks of chemicals are seen and their fingerprint map with the original perfume which was created and accepted by the customer. So they do the comparison of the chemical composition of a perfume with a gas chromatography. They will do some physical checking also, like a color or what is my specific gravity of that perfume or IR, and all those are aspects. The main thing is smelling, how you are going to do the smelling of this perfume. So that is called as the olfaction test. So there is a perfumery panel or a olfaction panel which is there in every company which is doing this testing of smelling. They are specialized people, they are trained in this smelling. So those panel members are able to recognize all kinds of thousand chemicals. Just by smell they will be able to tell you the name of those. So they are experts in this way, and that's why this is a niche industry. If you see creative manager, the perfumer or flavorist, the formula manager, the quality control, and to a certain extent production have a niche requirement of particular set of abilities to smell, to test in case of flavor. So in case of flavor, you do smelling as well as testing both. So you do the what they call as a dilution test, sugar dilution test, which is taken in mouth and then spitted out, as well as you are doing smelling side by side, how it is generating that particular test along with the smell in a flavor. In case of fragrance, it is a smelling which is creating those notes. Now this olfaction panel is always odd in number. That is because there should not be unanimous decision unless and until everybody is agree. So even if, say, olfaction panel is generally 3, 5, 7, 9, like that number of people who are on olfaction panel, even if one disagrees, you have an issue at place that he is not able to smell the way customer wanted it or the standard wanted it. That's why always the panel is in the odd numbers so that there is a dispute which will come out. If all three accept, then it's a good to go situation, and then the perfume gets approved, it gets packed, and ultimately dispatched to the customer. Now, this is in short a total story how this industry works, right from customer, creative manager, to a perfumer or flavorist, to regulatory aspects, formula management, production, quality control, packing, because there are requirements of packing which are specific because certain chemicals are reacting with metals. So they use MS drums, coated drums, they use plastic drums, they use aluminum drums, sometimes in glass bottles, and so many things because these are the concentrated uh, flavors or concentrated perfumes which you are getting. You must be using some of the flavors at home which you are getting, and say you have brought a vanilla flavor, you are adding few drops of this in your final preparation. If goes excess, it might generate a bitter taste, too much of smell which is coming out, and all those things which will be happening. So these are B2B businesses which are generating this. Typically in soaps and this thing, there is a percentage which is added to a soap, which are very minuscule, but that is the unique selling proposition for that brand. So you must have seen the advertisements of Lux or advertisements of Synthol and so many soaps that they are saying how the perfume is. They are describing the perfume in their product. Or floor cleaners telling it is citrusy note. After use, you'll find very smell like a citrus everywhere and all those things. Or your room freshness, which are so it becomes a selling proposition for the industry, as this is a perfume which is used in this and creating a smell outside. So this is in short the cycle from customer again back to customer. So there will be customer complaints coming in, which is typical any industry which happens. So there is ambiguity with respect to smell. So there is a customer having a factory somewhere who is doing the quality control. He may not have exactly understood the perfume which is being created. So there is a dispute happening. Then a creative manager, a perfumer, or somebody has to explain that, okay, this is how the smell is, this is how it should be. Sometimes they are keeping the standards which are created, which are sometimes called as the gold standard, not in a normal condition of storage. Sometimes it is heated, so it loses its smell or loses its color. There is a color creation happening. If exposed to sunlight, it will turn brownish, yellowish, something like that. So all those aspects are taken care. Customer service people are there who are taking care of the customer requirement along with the sales and marketing department. So this requirement, so customer is identify a marketeer or a salesperson, which is brought to a creative manager to describe the entire story, what he wants to introduce into a perfume. So as I mentioned, there are IFRA, which is International Fragrance Association, FEMA, Flavor Extract Manufacturing Association, GRAS, which is generally recognized as safe, FSSSI, FSSC, Halal, Kosher, and so many bodies which are controlling these industries. The last 4 5 are for the flavor industry. IFRA is basically for the fragrance industry. So you are IFRA certified, which is meaning that you are following all the regulations which are specified by IFRA. So they are giving in advance. So next 2 years, these chemicals will be stopped using in fragrance industry. So you have to take out all those chemicals which are currently in use and replace with somebody. So hence I mentioned that once it comes to formula management, there are there are creative fragrance managers, and there are perfumers. So there are technical perfumers also. So for example, one particular chemical has been told that it cannot be henceforth used, or there is availability issue of a particular chemical because of whatever reasons, because there are monopoly chemicals which are being supplied, and there is a shortage of particular raw material from which it is extracted or created. Hence I have to rework the formula which is existing with that particular chemical. So those are taken care by the technical people who will go on replacing this chemical with something else, ultimately to maintain the smell and the properties as per the customer's own satisfaction. So again, the formula management plays a clear-cut role, that how many formulas this is having, how much replacement will be required, and so many things which are happening. But this industry is working on formula secrecy. As you must have heard about Coke, the formula is secret for so many hundreds of years, and they are maintaining that secrecy by the process. So here also it is a formula secrecy which plays a clear role in entire industry, whichever industry we are into, whichever sectors we are into, or whichever company we are into. So formula secrecy, as I said, is utmost important, and hence there are robotic processes which are introduced in this sector. There are automation and olfaction panel, which I described, how it does the smelling. There is a maturation which is required in certain perfumes or certain flavors. There is an expiration, which will depend on type of components which are used within the perfume. So you have to monitor those. And important thing is how you are going to maintain the inventory of all these raw materials which are being used, in some in small quantities, some in large quantities, so that each perfume can be manufactured. Just imagine it is having a 70 ingredients of formula, and one ingredient is not available. That perfume cannot be delivered, that perfume cannot be created or manufactured, and hence the smallest ingredient also is going to halt this industry. Hence, the inventory planning of raw materials plays a crucial role. How we are going to decide when I am going to commit. Second issue comes is they are not able to forecast the exact demand because it's a B2B industry. I am selling it to some soap manufacturer whose soap is going to be sold with the consumers. How that pickup is going to happen and how he is going to translate that demand for a fragrance manufacturing company to tell how much fragrance he requires is fluctuating. There are seasonality in demand, there are fluctuation in demand. Say seasonality typically in say agarbatti sales going up in particular season. Say Dashera coming in, Diwali coming in, agarbatti sales are going up. Candle sales are going up, which is in Christmas time, or the attar sale goes up during the Ramzans and all this. So there are seasonalities which are happening in this industry, and a typical signal or the seasonality might be related with the FMCG product which is being sold. So I am using say cold creams. My perfume is used in a cold cream. The cold cream season it generally starts from December, January, February max. November, December, Jan, February. So your demand of those products will be very high during those periods. Hence, there is a seasonal peak. And after that, nobody is going to use that cold cream. So it will be next year again that cold cream season will come, and then those seasonalities are being affected by the demand in this industry. So aroma ingredients, as I described, there are extracts, there are natural oils. In all, there are around 1200 to 1400 different ingredients which are being used. You may not have heard some of these names: BASF, Privi, Synthite, Croda, plant lipids, Atul. All these are producing different types of chemicals which are used in the fragrance and flavor industry. These are called as the aroma ingredients. So these typically, all these industries which I have told, say for example, Givaudan, IFF, Simrise, are also manufacturing some part of aroma ingredient which is signature note for them or which is for general sale. So they might be producing something which is not sold outside but used only in their fragrances or flavors, and some others which are commonly sold to other industries. So in this industry, say if I'm sitting in Firmenich, I might be buying something from IFF, even though he is a competitor in my market for a particular customer. But there are some ingredients which IFF is manufacturing, I am buying. Same way, IFF must be buying something from me, even though our customers are common and we are competing in the market. So it is a customer and vendor relation which is maintained within this industry among themselves within the industry. So same customer might be a vendor for me as well as vendor a customer for me. So you have to maintain a different type of a relation within this industry. So that comes to close of my session. I'll come back to presentation. Yes. So are there any questions? Has anybody heard about this industry before? Was this information useful for you people knowing this industry? Because there are perfumers, there are fragrance creation team, fragrance management team, the formula management team. These roles are typically for this industry and not available anywhere else. So you must have heard about the tea testers. So tea testers are again similar type of industry. So they are smelling and testing tea. So they come into similar category. So it's a niche industry and very few people know, but it is a career path which is available with this big industry. Somebody is asking, how do you see the entry of global brands into Indian market? They are already there for years together. All these global brands are already existing, as well as some of the Indian companies are also in other countries who are operating. Now it is up to the creation, how competent you are, and how cost effective you are going to win the business. Yeah, somebody is asking, can someone start as a SME? What's the investment? Oh, investment part I will not be able to tell, but yes, most of them are starting as SME. If you see, all the global companies in this are the family-owned companies. You see, whether it is Firmenich, IFF, or whether it is Givaudan, Simrise, all have started as a family-owned business. Even within the Indian context, Keva is a family-owned business. So there is a perfumer within the family who is creating and this thing, and then they go into a commercial field altogether. But they start as a small scale, and then they grow. So SME is possible. Okay, somebody is asking what are the career opportunities and basic requirement from candidate interested. They should know, and they should have ability to smell, or at least interest to smell. Because you'll be surprised to know there are few people which I have come across who go to market, pick up a cucumber. By smell, they will tell whether it is right or wrong, whether the taste will be bitter or not, by just smelling cucumber. So there are people who know already how you develop that, because it is more of an art than a science. And there are opportunities which are specific for creation as well as understanding the perfumery. So there are courses available. I think there are 2 institutes in Mumbai which are having, plus 1 institute in Kanauj which is having all these courses which are available in perfumery and flavor technology, say ICT or Indian Chemical Technology, or earlier UDCT is offering courses in this, or Kelkar College, Vazi College in Mulund is offering this in perfumery and flavor technology. I think I answered Sanjeev Vishwanathan. Are there any diploma or certificate program that can be pursued to enter the perfumery industry? Yes, there are. Plus, there are perfumery schools outside, and it takes a lot of time and patience to be a perfumer. As I explained, the same palette is available. Child is drawing something out of that. Regular painter is drawing something out of that. There will be huge difference. So you have to learn the art of perfumery. You have to learn the art of making flavors and this thing. And those courses are available, but it is up to individual, because you can be taught how to do it. It is the art. That's why I'm saying it art. Individual, how he puts in his effort of smelling and creating something out of the same palette of raw materials which are available. I don't think there are any questions any further, so close this session. Thanks everybody for attending. Anything you have any interest, you can go to internet and search for this F&F industry. You will get much more information available. But just wanted to introduce this industry as a specialized field which is available, which is very less known. So thanks.